Again, you find yourself waking up in the still hours before morning. Even though the room is quiet, something is stirring on the inside, with the intellect being attentive and the heart refusing to rest. Why is it that you are unable to get a good night's sleep, and why does tranquility appear to come to other people but not to you? During this particularly precarious time, your body is not broken, rather, it is pleading for equilibrium. Cortisol, the old messenger of survival, is now rising at the wrong time, keeping you awake as your soul longs to surrender. This signal comes through cortisol, which is the original messenger of survival. Research indicates that during these hours, cortisol should be at rest, allowing your muscles to heal themselves and your memory to refresh itself. On the other hand, the modern environment is constantly signaling to your brain to remain awake. All of these things, including screens, late-night thoughts, and hidden sugars, throw off your internal clock, and as a result, the rhythm of rest is thrown off. Nevertheless, harmony can be recreated. Methods that have been demonstrated by science, shaped by nature, and founded in awareness are the 6 basic natural approaches that I have discovered over the years to quiet this storm that is occurring within me. Each one starts with just 1 tablespoon, but each one has the ability to bring the body back to a state of stillness and to refresh it with the knowledge that the night was never intended for worry, but rather for healing. The first of the 6 is a golden liquid that brings both warmth and knowledge. It is raw apple cider vinegar, the kind that still holds the mother, the foggy veil that most people try to avoid. Let us begin with this liquid. In that murkiness, there is a peaceful population of life, enzymes, minerals, and friendly bacteria that communicate directly with the gut-brain axis, which is the connection between your digestion and your feelings. It is common for what you feel in your mind to originate in your stomach. The body is able to recall memories of tranquility when this inner dialogue is peaceful. An individual should consume 1 spoonful of this vinegar that has been combined with 4 ounces of warm water 30 minutes before going to bed. It only takes a few moments for anything to start changing. Your blood sugar, which often fluctuates up and down throughout the night like a raging tide, appears to be beginning to stabilize. As soon as your glucose levels drop to a dangerous level at 2 in the morning, your adrenal glands rush to your aid, releasing an abundance of cortisol into your system as if you were in imminent danger. However, once the equilibrium is restored, that alert will no longer sound. Both the heart rate and the breath rate slow down. Researchers at Arizona State University discovered that a tiny quantity of apple cider vinegar, taken in the evening, reduced morning blood sugar by 4%. This is a simple number, but it represents the difference between a body that is unable to relax in the dark and one that is able to sleep without difficulty. The acetic acid that is included inside the vinegar performs the function of a gentle gatekeeper, therefore delaying the process by which complex carbs are converted into sugar. Because it imposes a natural limit on digestion, it safeguards you against the unexpected decreases that prevent you from getting enough sleep. A warm water is important. On the other hand, warmth helps to open the channels, which in turn helps to facilitate the smooth flow of absorption. Cold water shocks the system and tightens the nerves. Ensure that you measure properly and do not exceed 1 tablespoon. This is not a treat for excess. Rather, it is a lesson in pinpoint accuracy. In the beginning, the sourness may seem shocking to you. However, it is actually the language of awakening for your vagus nerve, which is the most important messenger between the mind and the body. Even though the initial taste may be apprehensive, it is actually a signal for your nervous system to let go of its grasp on you and let go of the day's hold on you. It is recommended that you just add a 1/4 teaspoon of raw honey if you feel that the flavor is too intense. While the vinegar continues to quietly work toward achieving equilibrium, the sweetness reduces the sharpness of the edge. When combined, they create a brief meditation in a glass that is both sour and sweet, warm and quiet, both easy and difficult to achieve. What the elders once knew without measuring is today the subject of studies that validate it. This nightly routine, when performed for a period of 2 weeks, has the potential to reduce nighttime cortisol surges by about 1/5 in older adults. Simple, natural, and profound, it is a return to the wisdom that may be discovered in the smallest of actions. When eaten with intention, 1 tablespoon can serve as a reminder to your body of how to relax. Memory, not magic, has a role in this. When we give our bodies the opportunity to listen, they remember the state of tranquility. The second of these 6 treatments is neither uncommon nor out of the ordinary. It is a component that is already present within you, and it is patiently waiting to be refilled. Is magnesium. When this mineral is lacking in the body, stress becomes the body's form of communication. The muscles tense up, the mind makes a conscious effort to remain vigilant, and the neurological system continues to be trapped in a calm storm of heightened awareness. The body is unable to entirely exhale if it does not have sufficient magnesium. Even when the night is completely silent, it is still prepared to engage in combat. Specifically, magnesium glycinate is the key to achieving a state of rest. It does more than only alleviate muscle pain when it is taken in the form of 1 tablespoon of powder combined with warm water before going to bed. It does this by blocking the very circuits that cortisol uses to keep you awake. According to the findings of scientific research, around 7 out of 10 persons suffer from magnesium deficiency, and the percentage of individuals who are over the age of 60 is much greater. This shortfall is not simply a statistic. It is the explanation that is not readily apparent for why so many elderly bodies are unable to fall asleep easily. Researchers from Ireland discovered that when older persons who suffered from insomnia took 500 milligrams of magnesium glycinate every night, their levels of the stress hormone cortisol reduced by more than a third, and their deep sleep lasted for nearly an hour longer during the night. The creation of GABA, the neurotransmitter that is responsible for calm, is fueled by magnesium. It is GABA that communicates to the brain that you are secure and that you may now take a break. That hushed utterance is lost when magnesium is absent. Powder dissolves more quickly than pills, and it enters the body virtually immediately after being taken. While it is moving through the tissues of the mouth and throat, it begins its quiet function, which reduces the amount of stress that the body is holding on to. Glycinate is a unique form of magnesium because it is bonded to glycine, an amino acid that carries its own tranquility. This allows magnesium to be delivered directly to the cells that have the most requirement for it. Due to this union, the mineral is able to cross the blood-brain barrier and arrive in the mind, which is where the process of rest begins. Use caution when measuring out 1 level tablespoon, which is around 400 milligrams, then combine it with 6 ounces of warm water. Slowly consume it over the course of several minutes. The deed itself should be a part of the ritual. There should be no rush or opposition about it. The fast change might produce a momentary drop in pressure if it is taken too quickly, which serves as a reminder that even mending requires patience. Many people report feeling a gentle wave of peaceful drop within 20 minutes. Depending on the individual, it can take several nights of consistent practice. By restoring equilibrium to the body, magnesium serves a purpose that is both straightforward and profound. This mineral shortage is now recognized by modern science as one of the primary reasons of awakenings in the middle of the night among people who are in their later years. Restoring it is not only a matter of supplementation, rather it is a matter of remembering. It is allowing the body to let go of the day, to silence the call of cortisol, and to eventually drift into the deep, unprotected rest that it was meant to know. This is what contemporary existence has steadily taken away from the body. The tart cherry, a fruit that is both unassuming and thought-provoking, is the source of the third remedy. There is more to its dark red skin than just its color. It contains one of the most abundant sources of melatonin in nature. Melatonin is a hormone that tells the body to feel sleepy and to rest, but its gift extends well beyond the realm of sleep alone. When 1 tablespoon of tart cherry concentrate is mixed with water, it contains substances that are known as anthocyanins. These are natural pigments that have the ability to reduce inflammation and soothe the pathways that are responsible for waking up cortisol in the middle of the night. It is common for the body to react as if it is under attack whenever it detects inflammation, even if it is something very minor such as joint stiffness or cellular exhaustion brought on by age. Not out of malice, but rather as a form of protection, cortisol levels rise. When this response, however, continues without interruption, it robs the night of its tranquility. Cherries with a tart flavor appear to suggest to the immune system that you should take a step back. Where there was discord, the anthocyanins served as mediators, bringing about a restoration of order. A study conducted by researchers at Louisiana State University looked at the effects of drinking tart cherry juice twice a day on elderly persons who suffered from chronic sleeplessness. The duration of their sleep increased by more than an hour each night, and the levels of inflammation indicators dropped significantly. These effects can be achieved with just 1 tablespoon of concentrated juice, which is roughly 20 times more potent than the usual variety. Additionally, concentrated juice does not contain any additional sugar or fluids that disrupt sleep. The harmony created by this fruit is what makes it so beautiful. Its naturally occurring melatonin is bonded with other components that let it release slowly, so guiding you into a state of gentle sleep without the grogginess that is typically associated with taking pills. Melatonin production in our pineal glands can decrease by as much as 50% around the age of 60, which allows cortisol levels to climb unchecked. In order to assist restore this rhythm, a modest portion of sour cherry concentrate is helpful. This is not because it induces sleep, rather it is because it reminds the body of its own design. Apply 100% Montmorency tart cherry concentrate to the dish in order to prepare it. Untouched, unblended, and unchanged in any way. About half an hour before going to bed, combine 1 spoonful of the substance with 6 ounces of water. The flavor will be astringent, but the high level of sourness is an indication of how powerful it is. It is the same sour notes that begin to reduce inflammation and soothe the edge of cortisol as it passes through your system. It has been observed by some individuals that their dreams become more vivid during the initial nights of use. This is not a disturbance, rather it is proof that your mind is returning to deeper REM cycles that it has been forgetting for a long time. The benefits accumulate over a period of time. Because of the anthocyanins, the blood-brain barrier is strengthened, and the damage that was caused by years of high cortisol levels is repaired. Not only can consistent use improve the quality of sleep, but it also assists in restoring the natural curve of stress hormones throughout the night. What starts out as a simple beverage evolves into a peaceful ritual, a crimson thread that is braided between science and tranquility, and a reminder that rest may be both natural and profound. The ashwagandha root, which has been used for ages in the practice of healing and meditation, is the source of the 4th treatment. Not because of its aroma, but because of the power and calm endurance that it is claimed to offer. Its name comes from the Sanskrit language and means the smell of a horse. In spite of its unassuming form, it possesses a power that is not easily recognized: the capacity to bring the entire stress response system of the body back into equilibrium. In contemporary parlance, it performs the function of a master switch for cortisol, the hormone that originally served to defend us, but now frequently causes us to rest. Ashwagandha is thought to release naturally occurring chemicals known as withanolides when it is consumed in the form of 1 tablespoon of the powdered root mixed into warm milk or water. The chemicals found in plants have the ability to block the receptors in the brain that cortisol uses to disrupt the state of affairs. Imagine them as silent guardians who are presiding over the mind and placing a sign that reads, "Do not disturb." With continuous use, cortisol levels can be reduced by about half within 2 months, according to scientific research that were published in the Indian Journal of Psychological Medicine. The greatest alleviation is seen during the nighttime hours, which is when one should be sleeping the most deeply. The adrenal glands, which are very small but powerful structures that sit atop your kidneys, frequently become exhausted as a result of years of excessive use. They are able to remember their rhythm with the assistance of ashwagandha, which helps to calm the consistent alarm that modern living sounds. Scientists refer to this type of drug as an adaptogen, which is a natural compound that assists the body in adapting to stress rather than providing relief from it. It does not induce sleep in the same way that a sedative does. Rather, it teaches the organism how to re-establish its own equilibrium, so creating resilience over time rather than providing reliance. The HPA axis, which is the communication channel between the brain and the adrenals, begins to settle down when it is taken approximately 1 hour before going to bedtime. This location serves as the nerve center for stress. After it has achieved harmony, the body will follow suit. It is essential to have the powder form since it has the complete spectrum of compounds that are found in the roots, with each compound acting together rather than standing alone. Mix 1 level tablespoon into 8 ounces of warm milk, whether it is dairy-based or plant-based. This will be the preparation. The heat will open up the roots in the body, and the natural fat will assist in the herb's absorption to a greater extent. Some people find the flavor to be earthy or bitter, which is a reflection of the soil from where it originates. It is possible to soften the flavor by adding a bit of cinnamon or nutmeg, which also adds its own brand of quiet tranquility. Instead of viewing it as a duty, think of it as a ritual, a nightly act of grounding that you perform before you completely give in to sleep. All of the effects of ashwagandha are cumulative. With each passing night, a sliver of tranquility is added, and the resulting fabric of resilience is woven together. The majority of people report that after a few weeks, they have a deeper sleep and a lighter morning. Its advantages are much more extensive for those of advanced age. In a gentle manner, it promotes thyroid function, which is another protector of hormonal equilibrium. By doing so, a single tablespoon is able to touch several layers of the body's wisdom, so serving as a reminder to the body that genuine power does not lie in tension, but rather in maintaining a steady and effortless calm. There is a fifth cure that is straightforward, well-known, and quiet but effective. Honey in its natural state, collected from the countryside surrounding you. There is more to it than being sweet. Balance is the key. There is a perfect equilibrium between fructose and glucose within each and every golden drop, which results in the formation of a mild source of fuel that supports the body throughout the night. As soon as the liver's energy reserves are depleted, the brain starts to worry about a lack of resources. It does this by sending signals that wake up the body, which then floods it with cortisol and adrenaline in an attempt to generate fresh sugar from the muscle tissue. This worry at midnight can be avoided by consuming a single spoonful of raw, unprocessed honey before going to bed. Because it maintains a steady flow of glucose, it allows the body to remain tranquil and the mind to remain unruffled. Researchers in Scotland discovered that consuming honey prior to going to bed can improve the production of melatonin, which is the body's natural messenger of slumber, while simultaneously lowering levels of stress hormones by as much as 50%. The process of this occurs as a result of a series of chemical reactions that start with tryptophan, an amino acid that undergoes a transformation into serotonin and subsequently into melatonin. This results in a gentle cascade toward tranquility, which was not brought about by medication, but rather by the design of nature itself. The only thing that can preserve this knowledge is raw honey. In the processed versions, which are transparent and lifeless and packaged in plastic bottles, the living enzymes have been removed. These enzymes are the very components that help to relax the nervous system and guide cortisol back to a state of calmness. In addition to being thick, fragrant, and unfiltered, true honey includes over 200 active chemicals, some of which are capable of penetrating the blood-brain barrier and calming the neurons that are responsible for the stress response. These compounds include quercetin and pinosumbrin. Honey from the area contributes yet another facet to the harmony. The pollen that is collected from flowers in the vicinity educates your immune system to tolerate it in a gentle manner, some minimizing inflammatory reactions that can also trigger the production of cortisol. It is almost as if the land itself provides you with a sense of equilibrium, giving your body a reminder that it is a part of something that is stable and long-lasting. About 20 minutes before going to bed, take 1 level tablespoon of the substance immediately off the spoon. Allow it to be absorbed by the tongue and dissolve gradually. There is no need to whisk it into water or tea. Its movement through the body is altered as a result of the dilution. This particular quantity of honey does not cause an increase in blood sugar levels. Not only does it stabilize it, but it also releases energy in a cadence that is in sync with your sleep cycle. A tiny amount of insulin is secreted, which is just sufficient to facilitate the delivery of tryptophan to the brain and initiate the process of its translation into serotonin and melatonin. In many cases, the pattern of rest begins to restore itself during the span of a single night. Even individuals who had their cortisol rhythms thrown off have been able to find equilibrium and return to normal in as little as 2 weeks. The parasympathetic system, which is the network that signals the body that it is safe to rest, is supported by the presence of trace amounts of magnesium, potassium, and B vitamins, which are all found in raw honey. But self-control is important. If you consume more than 1 tablespoon, the impact will be reversed and you may become awake. The key to healing is not plenty, but rather accuracy. When taken with present, a single spoon of raw honey has the potential to become a nightly ritual of tranquility, transforming sweetness into feelings of silence and bringing about sleep. Finally, the solution is not only straightforward but also profound: a powder of glycine. It is merely an amino acid, but it is one that the body naturally employs to produce collagen, and despite this, it possesses a power that very few people are aware of. Scientists in Japan who were conducting studies on chronic insomnia found that glycine had the ability to alter the very nature of sleep. With just 1 tablespoon, or approximately 3 grams, consumed before going to bed, the body is able to recall how to get a good night's sleep. As a result of its action on NMDA receptors in the brain, it brings the core temperature down, so delivering a signal that night has arrived and that vigilance can be relaxed. Not only does the level of cortisol decrease during the time when a person is sleeping, but it also decreases throughout the entire night. Science has noticed results that can be measured. Those who took glycine were able to fall asleep nearly 40% more quickly, wake up 50% less frequently, and keep their hormone levels calm until morning. The natural regulating that is taking place here is not chemical sedation. It is necessary for the body to cool down by around 2 degrees in order to achieve deep sleep. Yet, when cortisol levels are high, the brain remains warm, as if the night were full of hazards that are not visible. Glycine is able to restore the normal rhythm of the body by increasing the size of the blood vessels that are close to the skin, releasing heat that has been retained, and allowing for the return of stillness. Additionally, glycine is a crucial inhibitory neurotransmitter in the body, and it operates through the spinal cord and the brainstem to accomplish this function. Its mission is straightforward: to calm the system and to communicate to each neuron that the work of the day has been completed. While it is in transit, this message reduces the signals that cause anxiety and tension in the environment. At first, the effect is not very noticeable. It is a gradual cooling in the chest and a gentleness behind the eyes. However, almost immediately, it transforms into a wave of serenity that travels throughout the entire body. The powdered form is absolutely necessary. It is common for tablets to dissolve too slowly, which means that they miss the precise window of time when the body is ready to go asleep. Shortly before going to bed, combine 1 level tablespoon of glycine with 4 ounces of water. Use this mixture. It has a flavor that is slightly sweet, almost like water that has been flavored with sugar. It does not have any heaviness or aftertaste. Rather, it is straightforward. The mind begins to loosen its grip on the body within half an hour, and the body begins to let go of its grasp shortly after. Glycine, in contrast to sleeping drugs, does not require the user to go asleep. It enhances the very structure of rest, extending the period of deep sleep by almost a quarter, and reducing weariness even when the total number of hours spent sleeping is reduced. There are a lot of people who wake up feeling lighter and clearer, as if they had a shorter, more concentrated sleep rather than a longer one. In addition, research has shown that glycine improves cognitive performance the following morning, in a manner that is more beneficial than sleeping for extended periods of time while experiencing restlessness. The term restoration is more accurate than relaxation. The benefits of glycine extend beyond the realm of sleep itself. Glutathione, the master antioxidant that repairs cellular damage caused by prolonged stress and high cortisol levels, is produced by the body through its utilization of this substance. Glycine transforms each night of sleep into a night of recuperation and calm reconstruction each and every time. The nervous system acquires a new pattern over the course of time, one that is not one of survival, but rather of safety. 1 scoop of sweetness in water, taken with mindfulness, is all that is required to achieve elegance in its simplicity. There is no complicated ceremony, and there is no taste to bear. There is an invitation to let go, to calm the fires of the mind, and to realize that profound slumber is not something to pursue, but rather something to allow. This invitation is contained inside that seemingly insignificant deed. When a person's body is in a secure environment, it does not require any persuasion to fall asleep. It just does. Glycine, which is demure and humble, assists the body in remembering how to sleep. None of these treatments are out of the ordinary or far-fetched. They do not originate from secluded areas or customs that are kept a secret. Every single one of these is a component of the natural world that your body is already familiar with, a language that it used to speak fluently before contemporary living filled every void with noise. Glycine, magnesium, honey, cherries, ashwagandha, and vinegar are all substances that provide the body with a sense of equilibrium, serenity, and rhythm that it had never fully lost. Each of these substances meets the body where it already is. They are not miracle pills, rather, they are invitations, brief and uncomplicated actions that bring you back into alignment with the knowledge of your own nature. 1 tablespoon at a time, they calm the storm of cortisol that causes the mind to be restless and the body to continue to feel exhausted. It doesn't matter if you start with the delicate sweetness of honey, the earthy quiet of ashwagandha, or the cooling clarity of glycine. All of these practices finally bring you to the same destination, a night in which slumber comes to you naturally and without any effort on your part. You might discover that the combination of these treatments is much more effective. A teaspoon of glycine followed by honey, or magnesium followed by tart cherry juice, are examples of combinations that can be used to create a ritual that is both scientific and profound. The most important thing is not absolute perfection, but rather presence. In order to begin the process of retraining your nervous system to trust the night once more, you must take these remedies with mindfulness. Relaxation is a natural state for your body. Once upon a time, its systems, circulation, hormones, and breath moved in a manner that was in coordination with the rising and setting of the sun. On the other hand, screens, artificial light, and constant stress have completely flipped that rhythm on its head. Not only are we unconnected, but we are not broken. In addition to helping to bridge that gap, these natural ingredients serve to remind each and every cell that tranquility is not only conceivable, but also secure. Instead of considering each tablespoon to be a supplement, think of it as a way to show that you are remembering. It is the body's way of letting you know that it is prepared to come back. If you have patience, consistency, and a little bit of faith, you will find that falling asleep will feel less like an effort and more like coming home. The heartbeat gets more relaxed, the breath becomes more profound, and the night, which was previously a place of struggle, transforms into a haven once more. The goal here is not to seek for sleep, but rather to make room for it. The idea that you have to struggle to get rest is something that needs to be abandoned in favor of the ability to learn how to accept it. The normal rhythm of cortisol may have been disrupted by modern living, but nature has subtly placed the resources necessary to restore it within reach from the beginning. These 6 straightforward treatments are more than just fixes. They serve as reminders of the subtle wisdom that your body possesses. A new opportunity to listen, to heal, and to reestablish harmony presents itself each and every night. There is still hope for sweet dreams. The moment you recall what it is like to be at peace, they are waiting for you just beyond the threshold of a single focused spoonful.